Surely they've made some kind of mistake here, because as of filming this video, it's cheaper to buy these big name brands, well, brand new, than it is, well, second hand. Which highlights two things. Number one, the state of the secondary market when it comes to golf clubs at the moment. And number two, how golf is basically just a load of marketing. Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. Simon here, SS Golf Academy, where I do all my in-person teaching, online tuition, as well as second-hand club fitting, which is why this video is so good. I stumbled across some deals that just seem too good to be true, but they're not, they are real, which then got me thinking, hang on, what are people paying for these pre-owned, used, even though they're a few years old? And the prices are very similar, hence this video. Now, golf has definitely been in a bit of a boom this year, especially from my perspective, and I put that again down to just growing influences on social media and how much more mainstream golf is in every kind of characteristic. And I wouldn't say it's like pandemic levels, because I remember when we had the pandemic, literally used golf clubs were going for more than, let's say, brand new stuff, because people just couldn't get a hold of it. There wasn't enough supply and there was so much demand. And if you were playing golf at that time, the prices that people were charging for clubs that are slightly heavy was absolutely ridiculous. However, I have got two sets here today that I honestly don't feel you're going to lose money. They are forgiving, they are powerful, as I kind of just showed there. But most importantly, as I explained through all my videos on my channel, that's a bit better. I want you to be able to invest in clubs that later down the line, if you outgrow them or just want to change, you haven't lost a lot of money. Whereas these clubs that I'm holding here today, 2 years ago, even a year ago, they were going for double the price that they are going for now, which is why I mentioned the marketing side. And when all the hype dies down, there's these certain gems in the market that I like to draw attention to, because it saves you guys a lot of money and for me makes, well, good content. Now, this is my first pick, and my second pick is mind-blowing, I have to say. I was so excited when I found it. However, the Wilson Staff Dynapower, I'm excited to talk about the price and what this is going for. I love this club. I've talked about this club a lot, and I've been expecting this day to pop along, and here it is. Because I do have some other honourable mentions through this list. For example, this Callaway Rogue X iron set. It was actually being sold by a retailer quite close to where I live, around the £350 mark, which again I thought was actually a good price, but that's an old label. Like, again, they came out 2018, I think, something like that, 2017. Still good irons, still great technology, very powerful, very de-lofted. And realistically, the reason that I didn't choose that one to promote in this video and I'm choosing this one is that secondhand, actually, those Callaway Rogue X's go for $250. $270, and that's including, let's say, a sandwich or gap wedge included. So even though the price loss is quite good with those Callaway Rogue X's, it's nowhere near as good as what these are in terms of second-hand price versus buying it brand new, and certainly not anything like my other pick. Another option that quite didn't make the list was this 923 Hot Metal. Again, I'll show you the prices here on the right-hand side. $599 for 5 to pitching mode, so £100 a club. Again, quite a bit of money as well, because again, I want to give good value. Yes, I want your investment to be safe, but I don't want you to be strapped for cash in terms of putting too much money into your bag. However, again, second-hand prices, $570, $550, $500, plus a few more extra clubs. So again, didn't quite cut the mark in terms of getting it for virtually the same amount of money brand new versus obviously second hand. Because there is one downside of both these deals that I've got here for this club and my other, is that it comes with one shaft, one standard length, one basically everything, which is why I find it so important that you can sell them virtually used for the same amount of money brand new. So that if you don't like them, don't feel right, etc., you haven't lost anything, and I don't lose sleep at night because I've recommended them. However, the upside of, let's say, buying second-hand clubs versus these brand new is that there'll be other options of shaft, maybe different lengths, maybe a different combination you need. Maybe you don't need 5 to pitching wedge, maybe you need 4 to pitching wedge or 4 to gap wedge, whatever it might be. As I said, my channel is all about value, very much giving you the most value that I can possibly provide, not to mention talk about clubs that have kind of been forgotten about. And this Dynapower is so strong lofted, so powerful. 220 odd yards I've hit that because, I mean, it's pretty much the same as my 5-iron. This is lofted at 27 degrees. So I'm recommending this club right here for golfers that want more distance. Potentially cut the ball, fade the ball, their spin's too high, and if you know that your spin's too high, one of the easiest ways to drop it is to have these de-lofted irons. Again, around a beginner level, 5,000 to 5,600 is a pretty good area in terms of getting enough carry, but then also decent amount of stopping power. Now, obviously, everyone's different, and that's why I club fit second-hand clubs as well. But as a good rule of thumb, especially the price point for these, I'll show you here, let's say on the left-hand side, your left or my right, your left, my right. Remember when these first came out, they were like $699 or just over £700. And even then, when I reviewed them, brand new, I went, these are great. I love them, especially the forged ones as well. However, in that video, I did say I can't wait to see in a year's time, a year and a half time, what they are second-hand. And actually, second-hand, they're holding their price pretty well. As I'll show you listings again here on your left-hand side, £350, £340, £300 plus with a few more irons added in. And for a club that I think looks this good, feels this good, around just over £50 a stick with cellophane around the top of it and warranty from a website as well at the same time. I think it's 369 brand new warranty, everything that I just said. It's a great price for what it is. It's worth mentioning the forged version because again, in terms of sales price, this is obviously the last year's model of the Wilson Dynapower Forged. It's a tiny bit too much in my eyes versus second-hand price, and obviously the brand new price, I'd go more second-hand if I was to get these in the bag. The brand new price just seems a tiny bit too much to take a random guy's viewpoint on YouTube from. And I guess the same could be said for these. This has been a very popular iron I've been fitting for recently in terms of second-hand, and even though Titleist is so premium, very premium brand new, so therefore the second-hand price is also very premium. They do hold their value incredibly well, just like the other brand I'm about to talk to you about. So yes, just over £600, 5-to-picture modes. Again, a bit too steep in my eyes if you're not being able to choose the shaft and the lie and the length or whatever it might be. I can't wait to show you the price of what this is currently going for from only one place. I've only seen one place sell these at the moment for the price, but these have been in the studio for a long time. And I like fitting for Ping. Again, incredibly popular brand that I fit for. But, especially over the last 2 years, this I've been recommending, and I've been recommending this as well. Purely because the numbers between that right there and this right here is negligible with the same shaft and the same length and the same lie. So therefore, because my channel's about value, I'm going, don't bother with the G430, go for the G425. Not to mention the second-hand price of Ping, especially over the last well, basically all the time, but especially when there's a boom, Ping is so safe. Number one, especially when it comes to second-hand, you can see the light angle. Typically on a, let's say a retail club, that isn't obviously a demo club, it would be a dot here. So for second-hand clubs, that is so invaluable, just knowing the light angle, whereas a TaylorMade Titleist Mizuno, you have no idea. Secondly, they're built like tanks, therefore the condition is always good with them. There's certain clubs you see that come out to the market, like the Paradigm, for example, from Callaway. Looks great in the wrapper, looks great on the shelf. As soon as you've played 20 odd rounds with it and it's rattled around the bag, it looks awful. Whereas these, again, look phenomenal. Lastly, these help the ball up. Unlike the Dynapowers that actually kind of knock the spin down with their heavy de-loftedness. And yes, these are still strong lofted at 29 degrees. Because they put so much weight behind it and so low, it actually helps launch. And for a good portion of the people that I teach that aren't just after, let's say, raw distance all the time, actually they want a bit of control but need some forgiveness as well as a tiny bit of offset, but not really as much as, let's say, the Dynapower. These are such a go-to, and I'm not surprised the second-hand prices of the G430s especially have stayed the way they have for so long. Fortunately, if this retailer is selling these clubs off cheap, then maybe some of the others will as well. As I said at the start of this video, supply and demand is everything, not to mention marketing, and Ping obviously have their G440 range out, so there'll be a lot of people going, I need that newest technology, that one that's going to help me hit it that much further and straighter. From my perspective, I know the performance and tech is virtually at its limit and has been at the limit for a very long time. Therefore, what I'm interested in is making sure that a lot of you guys that watch my channel or come for lessons or club fits is that there's plenty of stock to look for when you're starting the game. I want you to use big name brands with loads of R&D and performance and everything else, because the amount of time, energy and money that we spend into this game, it makes sense for you to have the best equipment. My main thing is you don't need to spend £3,000 on your golf bag to get it. 29 degrees versus the 27, tiny bit more spin as you can imagine. Both had very similar shafts into themselves, which means that I got a bit less carry. But it would have also meant I got a tiny bit more height, as well as obviously a bigger descent angle. And as you can see there, when it comes to these irons, my main thing is front to back dispersion, not necessarily left to right. And as you can see with the dyno powers, depending on how well or how badly I hit it, the spin was so low, sometimes that means a knuckleball, which means that I'm missing the green out the back. I'll leave you with this on my right-hand side, and there's a few retailers selling these now for around just over £500, but the only one that I found under £500 is Hot Golf, $499, 6 to pitching wedge, which to be honest, for the clubs that they are and who they're designed for in terms of getting the ball up in the air, maybe that slower player, 6 irons probably enough. Then you go into your 7 wood or potentially 5 hybrid. However, the whole reason for this video, because again, it's still £100 a club. If I look online, eBay, used, people have used those clubs. They're going for the same amount of money, if not slightly more, and not many people have quite noticed that happening at the moment. Guys, if you like this video, please leave it a like. If you've got any questions, sasgolfacademy.com. Catch you guys later.